Hi everyone, I'm Stefan and I'm the founder of the GSC Helper extension. In this video, I don't want to give you a full overview about all the capabilities, but maybe the functionalities that are most important for most of you. If you want to see all the features, please go to my website and then check out the tutorial over there, because otherwise this video would go maybe for an hour. So let's directly start. Here I'm on my website and I already installed the extension. The first thing I'm going to recommend is that you're going to pin the extension by clicking on the puzzle icon and then clicking here on the small pin, because then the icon is visible for you all the time. The default action of this icon is that it's going to open the page you're currently on inside Google Search Console according to a specific configuration you have entered in the extension. So I'm currently trying to open this page. Let me show you the config. I'm going to open this page with the settings, last 6 months in a domain property, or I can change it to last 28 days, saying URL property. And on top of that, you can define the Google profile that should be used. This is important for you when you are an agency SEO, because there it can usually happen that you're having access to various Google accounts, and the access to one specific client website can either be in your personal or in the company Google account. And by selecting here the values, you can then define in which of the profile the link should be tried to be opened. If I'm doing the same thing again, you will see that I'm seeing, oh, you don't have access to the property. For demonstration purposes, I was removing myself from the so-called URL prefix property, and that's why I can't use the link. But here I can say, okay, let's try this again, open it in my primary account as a domain property. I'm clicking here and now everything is working. Going back to the options, there are several other things you could do. The first thing we should have a look at is the configuration, because based on your choice, GSC Helper is able to alter the interface. So as you can see here, for example, this bar is usually not visible for you because it has been entered by the extension. And that's also something I'm going to say. Or here also on the small search icon, it's also telling you that this is being added by GSC Helper. Same thing over here with those two icons. They are also being injected by the extension if you want to have them. So the first configuration is about the width. As you may know, Google is not going to make the use of the full width of your screen. And if you want to have this, simply say yes, and then we are overwriting the CSS. Here you have the option to open the URL, or you have the search link. You can inject the date and regex filters. So this is basically this thing up here. Or you're saying analyze URL in GSC, or you're having a copy table function. I will quickly show this to you. So whenever there's table data, you can just click here on copy table, and then it's extracting all the table data for you, is storing it in your clipboard, and then you can go to Excel, Google Sheets or whatever and paste the data in here. If you want, you can also say that you want to show the row numbers. So I'm saving this, refreshing the page, and then you can see that now the row numbers has been added in front. This is sometimes helpful to make various quick analyses. One really important update with version 2.0, which I'm currently showing you, is the numbers format. So as you know, numbers are displayed differently between Europe and the US. And you can then select what the preferred number format is for you, for then all the downloads the extension is going to offer. Here you can change the colors for the so-called by date visualization. I will show this later to you. Or you can say that you want to have traffic share highlighting as well. So I'm saving this. I'm going once more to the performance report. And let's quickly have a look. Let me reload this because I was excluding the numbers. So here I now have the search link, and if I'm clicking on it, I will search for this particular query. If I go over here, I can then say, okay, let's analyze this particular page in Google Search Console performance report. So the page has been set, and this is super handy because you can do it from various reports. So for example, from the index pages, you are saying, I want to see how well this article is ranking. So you're clicking on it, you see, okay, it does not have any clicks, but it was generating impressions, and so on and so forth. Let me close those things. A really important useful functionality is the regex patterns. So the first thing you're entering here is the name, yeah, and then you're setting up your configuration. So you can say this is the name, and here the queries should exclude, for example, branded keywords. Here you're entering those things in the regex syntax, so it's search or analyzer, so that's why I'm separating it with the pipe. I can also say this is now search analyzer brand. Regex includes for the query this. And if I'm now going here, I can then say, okay, show me only traffic that is non-branded or the one that is branded. And then you can see that this configuration has been set over here. You can do the same thing by performing a right mouse button click and then going down here, custom regex. There you will see them. I also have some predefined ones, like for example, URL patterns, URLs with a specific folder count, or including parameters or queries with a specific pattern, like German questions or transactional keywords or word counts, yeah, or with digits. So there are various things how you can analyze your website quite quickly with the filters I've been adding across the board. Yeah. Maybe one quick remark here on the set date functions. So I just set them by right click or up here if you want. So here I can, for example, say quarter to date, or you want to see month to date. These are custom selections that I've been inserting in the extension that are not available to you. And what is going to happen is, for example, here it was now adding from the 1st to the 16th of May, because this is the data period that's currently available to me. And then it's basically applying this directly for you. I can also remove all the filters and see all the data. And let's quickly look up 2, maybe 3 reports. So when I'm in the dates breakdown, I can click on the extension logo, and then I'm generating a visualization of my traffic either by month or by week or by day. And on top of that, you have the data down here. So you can see how the trends are, whether the website is generating more clicks, less clicks, if only the impressions go up, or also the clicks go up, or both are going down, and so on and so forth. You can also say that you only want to spot the data here for clicks or impressions, and you want to have it aggregated by month or by quarter. Quarter is not working because I was saying last 3 months and the quarter is not yet finished. So what I could do is going here, it's saying last 12 months. I'm going back to the dates tab. I'm clicking the extension logo one more time. And now I am also able to see the data aggregated by quarter, because now quarterly data is available to me. That's why it's also being displayed down here. You can also say that you want to see partial quarterly data. So for quarter or month that is not finished yet, that this is being included, or you don't want to have the values, you want to save the screenshot here as a chart, or you can download it in various formats. So you can download this as XLSX or CSV, or you're clicking here on copy data to clipboard, and then the data is within your clipboard and you can paste it in any table program as you like. Another report that is really helpful is the visualization of your traffic by pages. So when you're within the Pages tab and you're clicking the extension logo, or right click, GSC Helper Options, GSC Data Enhancement, you will see all of them that are available right now. Here I can click on page and I'm seeing this view. This is breaking down your traffic in various patterns. So first of all, you're seeing the configuration from where the data was being extracted. You're seeing how many clicks have been reported by GSC. That's the number up here. How many clicks I'm able to sum up in the table. In this case, it's exceeding the total count a bit because Google is saving the data once aggregated by website and then by page. And it could happen that the person is searching for a specific query and is clicking on 2 or 3 URLs of your site. So this would mean it's 1 click for the website, but 3 clicks for individual pages. And that's why the clicks coverage could exceed 100%. You're also seeing how many pages are being reported, how many of these pages were generating clicks in a specific time frame, how many clicks the last page was generating. This is in particular helpful if you're working with a big site, because as you know, Google Search Console interface is only giving you up to 1,000 entries in the table. So meaning I'm also not able to show you any data for the 1,001st query. So, and by looking up this stat, you can then see whether there are additional queries which are currently omitted by a Google Search Console and are then hidden for you. So, things I want to point out besides the filter up here is the first thing, the traffic share. So as you can see, this website is generating 1,344 clicks in total. 433 are landing on this particular article, meaning if I'm dividing the number of clicks to this page from the total traffic, it's generating approximately 1/3 of all my clicks. That's the number up here. The second best page is generating 300 clicks. So the two pages together are making roughly 750 of 1,344 clicks. So their overall traffic share is then 32 plus 23, it's 55.51%. So meaning 55% of my organic traffic for this website is currently being generated just by two pages. And that's something you can also look up here in the visualization. So you're seeing how quickly the overall traffic is going to ramp up. As my website is small and I'm not having that many pages that are optimized for keywords, you can see that the traffic is quite short tail focused. So meaning just a few pages are generating the majority of my traffic. And this is something that is really valuable for you as an insight, because it could be that you're having, let's say, 2,000 index pages, but if you're then looking up for the traffic, you will maybe see that just 20 of those pages are generating 90, 80, 70% of the overall traffic. And then it's the question, why are the other pages not performing? Or maybe various other things. Yeah. So it's really, really important for you to understand the traffic and how your traffic is dependent on the individual performance of just a few pages. Another thing the extension can do for you is aggregating the traffic by folders. So here you can see in the root folder, this is generating this amount of clicks. So it has a very high click share. Also, most of the impressions are going here. You can see that 15 URLs are within this root folder, or you can see _𝐕𝐢𝐻𝑚. And here, this is very, very handy because you can go to the folder property. So I'm currently not having access to it, but I can now just click verify. And as I'm an owner of the website, I can verify this folder for me instantly in Google Search Console and then have all the data just based on this particular folder. I would recommend that you're doing this for your most important folders, and if you then like, you can also go further down, so by second folder, third folder if you have it, and just click here on the link, then click on verify, and then you have this particular URL pattern as a separate property in Google Search Console. So let's close those things. Another topic I want to show you is here within the queries tab. When I'm clicking on the extension logo one more time, I'm getting enhanced data now for queries. So as we have seen before, I can see the traffic share, I can see the accumulated traffic share. So first result, second result, what is the traffic share of those pages? And I can see the traffic by word patterns. Yeah, so I'm splitting up the search queries in, for example, 1 grams or 2 grams, meaning 1 word or 2 word combinations. Then you can see how common is a specific keyword, so how many different queries it included, how much clicks is it driving, how many impressions is it driving, what is the CTR. Then you can sort the data and you can filter it down, or you're clicking here, show queries with this n-gram. So for example, let's say we're going for GSC, and you can see GSC helper is generating this amount of clicks, this amount of impressions, and so on and so forth. Here you also have the option to go back to Google Search Console to look up this particular query inside the GSC report. Yeah? You can remove the filters, you can work with it, you can download the data. A new functionality I was adding in this version is the first iteration of the crawl stats report. So when you are within the crawl stats, you can also click on the extension logo, and then you'll see data aggregated in a very similar way than we have seen before. So here you can see that the front page within this 1000 sample is mentioned 106 times. It has as the most recent status code 200. The last crawl sample date is this. The first crawl the sample date is that. It does not include any parameters, so the parameter count is 0, and it doesn't have mixed status codes. Mixed status code is basically telling you whether one URL is in the samples reporting sometimes maybe a 301 and sometimes a 200 status code. This could happen, for instance, when you're still running a separate mobile website, and then the mobile bot would see a 301 and the desktop bot would see status code 200 and things like that. The interesting part for most of you is the aggregation by parameter. So you can see which parameters I have found inside the data, how many crawls they were generating, and how many different URLs were including this parameter. Or you're looking up the data by folders one more time, so you're seeing how many sample URLs are within this particular folder, what the distribution of status codes is, and then you are able to spot maybe that 4 pages are occurring only in one specific folder for your website. Yeah. As usual, you can download the data as CSV, as XLSX, or copy them to the clipboard. So what else do I have for you? I think we already talked about this. This is the copy table function. So whenever there is table data, you can click here on the extension, on the small button, and then the table data is being stored for you in your clipboard, and then you can go to Excel and just paste it in there. For some reports, you can also perform the right mouse button click, and then you have various copying options. So you can say only extract the sample URLs together with the crawl date, or also together with the source. So the source is, for example, index pages or any other particular report. Search Console Helper has additional features that I don't want to emphasize too much on right now, but just very quickly. So you can go to the compare view. You can then compare those two periods with the enhanced data. Here, which is new to version 2.0, you have a focus view and a custom view. So if you're overwhelmed with all the data points, you can just go to the focus view and then see a reduced set of data and see, for example, if clicks are increasing and impressions are decreasing, or vice versa. Or you're going to custom view and then you're saying, okay, I don't want to see this or this or this, and then just clicking all those things together, and then you are able to spot differences quite easily. As usual, the links will lead you back to Search Console. So for example, here I'm now filtering for this particular query and show you the data. Show you the data. Okay, for one specific period. Sorry, I was just a bit confused for myself. So if you're clicking on the data for one period, you will only see this particular period. If you're clicking here on the differences, you will see the comparison between the two periods. That was what I was expecting before, so that's why I was just pausing a bit. So you have this either for the compare view based on queries, or also based on pages. So if I'm selecting, I want to compare the month to date versus 1 year ago, and I'm going to pages, I can also do this and see how pages are performing over time. And as I said, clicks 1 is just showing you the first period, clicks 2 is then for the prior to the comparison period, or you're going on the differences and then you're seeing the difference between the two being displayed right next to each other. Always keep in mind that you can visualize whatever you want. So if I'm saying quarter to date, and I'm also applying, let's say, the query filter for word patterns, so I only want to see queries with 2 words, and then I'm hitting the extension logo, I'm visualizing this data. Yeah? Well, I'm now going to the queries, and if I'm going to run this again, you will see all the queries in here are now 2 words, and I can then see the traffic share, the word count, the n-grams, sorry, that are including in this 2 two-word search queries, and so on and so forth. So there's quite a lot of functionality to explore within the extension. Feel free to try it out. Take a look on the website, because there I've written an in-depth article with all the functionalities. Maybe I missed a couple of them right now, but just try out the extension. It's free. I'm not collecting any data. So enjoy, and whenever you have a question, reach out to me, and I'm super, super happy to help you. So I'm out. Bye. Have a great day.